Connor from the O'Connor Law Firm, Kansas City, Missouri, answering questions submitted on our Facebook page regarding what is federal conspiracy and how does the government prove that in a conspiracy case. So the best place to start generally with any question like that is let's look at the statute. Since this is a federal question, you look at the federal statutes. And 18 U.S. Code Section 371, which is titled Conspiracy to Commit Offense or Defraud the United States. And when you hear a word like 18 U.S. Code Section 371, all that means is it's the 18th volume of the United States Code and Section 371 of that 18th volume. And here's what it says. If two or more persons conspire either to commit any offense against the United States or to defraud the United States or any agency thereof for any purpose, and one or more such persons do so and affect the object of the conspiracy, each shall be fined under this title or in prison for not more than 5 years or both. If, however, the offense, the commission of which is the object of the conspiracy, is a misdemeanor only, the punishment for such conspiracy shall not exceed the maximum punishment provided for such a misdemeanor. So, what this code is saying is that if two or more people agree on the object, and the object has to be an illegal object. So in this particular code, it's to defraud the United States. So let's say that two people agree to do something to defraud the Social Security Administration. Let's say one person makes a fake death certificate and the other person presents that death certificate to the Social Security Administration in order to get benefits. So there you have the two separate acts. The first person creates the fake death certificate and the second person takes that to further, or what they call an act in furtherance of the conspiracy to the government in order to obtain those benefits. So the key phrase in a conspiracy is that act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So another example would be, let's say it's two people, and one of them gives a ride to someone to the convenience store, and the guy goes, "Hey, take me to the convenience store. I'm going to rob it." The person driving them to the to the convenience store is part of the conspiracy, as they have agreed to commit one of the acts, and they've agreed on the purpose or object of the conspiracy, which would be robbing the convenience store. It can get very fuzzy and thin, and I know, yeah, shocker, a lawyer is telling you that there's some fuzzy exceptions to the rules. There always are. Let me give you another example. Let's say you've got a guy who wants to purchase a large amount of illicit drugs. Let's just make it cocaine for purposes of this example. Now, let's say that he needs some money. He needs, $50,000 to buy several kilos of cocaine, but he doesn't have the $50,000. Now, if he goes to a bank and gets a loan, if the bank doesn't know the purpose of why he's getting that money, of course, they would not be part of the conspiracy. Now, if he goes to his friend Bob, and Bob says, here's $50,000 so you can go buy those several kilos of cocaine, then Bob is part of the conspiracy because he is agreeing to further the conspiracy by providing the cash. Or if Bob says, hey, here's my car, you can use my car to drive to Mexico to pick up the cocaine or whatever illicit substance, that's also an act in furtherance of the conspiracy. So as long as they are, the person is aware of the object of the conspiracy, and there is some level of agreement. Now, it doesn't have to, it's not like it has to be written. There's not a contract to commit this conspiring act, but it's just something that furthers the ultimate goal, which is the criminal act, and that's what makes it a conspiracy. It can be a very small act. It can be buy someone a plane ticket if you know that they're going to be flying someplace to obtain illicit drugs or participate in a crime. And the problem with these is generally the minimum sentence on drug conspiracies is 5 years, and if you have a prior drug conviction, it's 10. It can go up to life very quickly because of the federal guidelines. So again, the key to understanding federal conspiracy is one act that furthers the ultimate object or the crime that the two or more parties are involved with. Most of the time in conspiracies, you're talking 30 or 40 people. It may be the first person named in the indictment is John Doe, and then there's 45 people later, it's Larry and Larry Doe. And Larry may not know John, but John knows, the first 3 or 4 people down the indictment, and it sort of weaves like a chain. And what often happens is the law enforcement agencies will arrest one or several of the people involved in a conspiracy. Those people might be given cooperation agreements, which would cut their exposure or time that they're looking for, and they cooperate and give information, or what is commonly known as snitching. But in exchange for their snitching, which can be very valuable, they will receive a downward departure. What that means is the government can file a motion under Rule 5K1 to have the court deviate from the mandatory minimum. So let's say the mandatory minimum on a case is 10 years. With the 5K1, the court could then go below that 10 years, where if the person didn't cooperate, they could not go below that 10-year floor. So there's a lot of motivation in the federal system for people to cooperate, especially on a conspiracy. And the way that it plays out is, let's say in that 45-person indictment, you may have 15 to 20 people who are cooperating, and now they become witnesses for the government. So in addition to maybe the evidence that they seized, whether it's cash that was marked as part of an undercover buy, or whether it's a surveillance video, or whether they had phone taps, all of that evidence, plus now you've got people involved in the conspiracy who are like, yeah, I gave so-and-so, John Doe, $10,000 so that he could purchase cocaine kilos in Mexico. And that becomes what the proof is that the government has. So that is the answer to what is a conspiracy in the federal system. I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day.